Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, hello everyone. On this great occasion, I would like to present to you an article. The title of the article is EFL Teachers' Challenges in Promoting Learner Autonomy in the 21st Century Learning. EFL in this context stands for English as a Foreign Language. There are some parts that we are going to talk in this opportunity. The first is the introduction. The second is the research method. The third is the findings. The fourth is the discussion. And the last is the conclusion. Let's move to the first part, that is the introduction. Long life education is a concept where individuals will always learn along with their life, since education is life itself, known as a long life education. Lifelong learning is seen as a continuous lifetime experience that leads individuals for self-development and autonomous. In Indonesia, the concept of learner autonomy is reflected in its foundation of education, including philosophical, sociological, and ICT. Learner autonomy through the implementation of Curriculum 2013 proves that the foundation of education in Indonesia is based on constructivism as one of the philosophical educational foundation. However, the cultural influence seemed to be the challenge for Indonesian English as a foreign language learners. The learning style in Indonesian students as a part of Asian countries was influenced by the culture. These societies tend to be collectivist, reticent, and passive. Learner autonomy is considered as one of the prominent factors in creating meaningful learning. However, the teachers were faced challenge with the reticent and passive student. It is necessary to identify the challenges and trace the factors to provide a preference for English as a foreign language or English as a second language teachers in improving their English classes and help students be autonomous learners. The statements of the research problem were proposed as follows. The first is, what are the challenges in promoting learner autonomy in the 21st century learning faced by EFL teachers? And how do the EFL teachers face the challenges? We move to the next part, that is the research method used in this study. This study applied a descriptive qualitative research design, since this study involved natural settings in junior high school classrooms where teaching and learning were conducted. The teachers, as the subject of the study, directly experienced the issues under the study. Furthermore, through descriptive research, the researchers were able to fully comprehend the teachers' characteristics and their issues related to the promotion of learner autonomy in the 21st century learning. Purposive random sampling was conducted to decide the study's subject following some criteria or characteristics, such as the 7th grade junior high school teachers experiencing teaching in that school for 5 years and being willing to be interviewed. For the data collection, the researchers interviewed the subjects using interview guidelines with an audio recorder's help. The teacher's statement toward the challenges faced in promoting learner autonomy in their classroom and how they faced them were collected through a semi-structured interview technique where the questions are formulated. For the data analysis in this study followed the 5 steps by Creswell, 2009. That is data collection, data reduction, data display, conclusion, and drawing. After collecting the data in the form of an interview, all the interviews were transcribed and the data transcriptions were read carefully. After that, the teacher's statements were categorized and added to the identification tables. Next, we move to the findings of the research. As you can see on the screen, this is the findings of the research. The findings are divided into 2 parts. The first part deals with the identification of challenges in promoting learner autonomy. And the second part described how the teachers face the challenges. Based on the results, there are four parts in the challenges. That is the policy constraints, institutional constraints, language teaching, and learners' background. Specifically, policy constraints that faced by teachers, it is school system, school zoning system. For institutional constraints, it is unscheduled events on the education calendar. For the language teaching, the problem is lack of knowledge toward teaching strategies to promote learner autonomy. And the learner's background, the problem is students' different characteristics like unsupported socio-economic background, initiating activities to involve in learning. In order to face these problems, there are some strategies applied by the teachers. The first is applying collaborative learning strategies. The second, planning and managing time. The third, applying collaborative learning strategies. And the last, initiating activities to involve in learning and giving reinforcement. Next, we move to the discussion. Based on the study, there are some points that we can take. The first, the present study identified problems faced by English as a foreign language teachers in promoting learner autonomy. Those are educational and institutional constraints, language teaching, and learners' backgrounds. The present study also found that English as a foreign language teachers faced a limitation of time in curricula. And the present study shows that the teachers were already implemented 21st century learning in some aspects through collaboration and communication, which is skills that needed in the 21st century. However, the present study also shows that the absence of ICT application to the educational process in the 21st century learning. The present study also found that the lack of students' proficiency in English is a challenge teachers face. An unsupportive learning atmosphere outside the classroom was revealed to be part of students' problems in maintaining their learning activities. The students also needed a certain degree of concentration for learning. A discrepancy was identified where institutional pressures, rigidity, and societal expectations factors were no longer belong to the challenges in encouraging autonomous learners. A new factor as the challenges to promote autonomy for learners was identified, namely the school zoning system, as I have mentioned before. Students with less autonomy would have fewer responsibilities for their learning, affecting their achievement. We come to the last part, that is the conclusion. It is noteworthy to identify the challenges in teaching and learning, which provide teachers with references to improve their teaching. The result of the present study revealed that educational and institutional policy, language teaching, and learners' background were identified as the challenges faced by English as a foreign language teachers in promoting learning autonomy in 21st century learning. The English as a foreign language teachers have applied some strategies and approaches in transforming challenges such as initiate learning, collaborative learning strategy, planning, and time management. Through this identification, it was expected that the learners get a better educational experience for further research. The investigation on the external factors that might affect learner autonomy, such as the school zoning system, was also recommended. All right, this is the reference for this presentation. The article was written by Viraningsih and Santosa in 2020. All right, that is all from me. Thank you for your attention, and I'm totally sorry for my mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.